Dr. Ashok said to you first, I can't even begin to imagine the stress and the tension that hospital authorities would be going day after day after day as more and more people keep calling for beds and oxygen support beds, and you know that you have very limited supply. I mean, I was just looking at what's happening in Delhi, and hospital after hospital, yesterday first came out and put out an SOS from Apollo to Max Hospital, Manipal Hospitals also said so, and each one of them, in the night they got some, and then tonight again we are looking at the same situation. Do take us through the experiences that you all are having on the floor of these hospitals.
You're so correct. In fact, over the last 24 hours, every hospital has been crying and saying that they only got a few hours of oxygen supply left. But the heart-wrenching situation around that is, what really if that happens and suddenly the oxygen pressure goes down and we have a number of patients on the ventilator? We, at the moment, at the Fortis Escorts Heart Institute, have a 12-hour supply till 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. And I was just going through just before your program as to how many people do we have in the ventilators, what do we do? Do we start bagging them if the supplies don't come in, and so on and so forth. But what's important is also to start understanding something which is ironic. You see, it's nice to hear it has to be a coordinated effort, suppliers, producers, government, and centralized structure which actually distributes it. But let's say, what do we do on site, on the ground, as if we are the ones who are managing the patients, and we can never think of a situation where oxygen is not there and a patient dies in front of our eyes. Because of lack of oxygen. It's never happened before. The ironic issue is that we've always thought of oxygen, the most important agent to keep someone alive, as an automatic situation. We never realize it's the rarest commodity that it can actually be in certain situations as of now. So in a way, what I'm saying is that we have the ability to decrease oxygen use, which had never gone through our minds for years and years of usage of oxygen, because we never really came to a situation where there was true oxygen shortage. We have felt that the oxygen is around us in the air. It keeps everybody alive. So let's tell you that exactly what we can do on the ground and have already started doing. For example, all routine surgeries from tomorrow, and these are non-emergent surgeries, are canceled so that we have enough, we can actually extend our oxygen usage. But we also, and this is, remember, there is an overuse of oxygenation due to panic. Most people are used to seeing their oxygen saturations around 97, 98. And for the whole of last year, we have emphasized to people that when at home, the moment you start seeing a saturation of 94, you need to be admitted. You need to be scared. You need to rush into the hospital. You need to contact a doctor. And that figure of 94 stays with people, even though now, over a period of greater experience and greater therapies, we realize that people at even saturations of 90 to 92 do well. So what happens when these 94% come into the hospital? Many of the doctors give them enough oxygen to bring their oxygen saturations to 97 and 98. And the patients also feel better seeing those saturations. And yet again, we've realized that all you need to do is maintain saturations between 90 and 93 to get the best results. There is obviously many of those who even improve their oxygenation by just even at home lying in a prone position and suddenly seeing the oxygenation go up. Non-invasive ventilation is a better method than giving high flow nasal oxygens, which take away nearly 80 liters in an hour. So we've got numerous options to decrease oxygen utilization. In fact, I'm not saying decrease, appropriate oxygen utilization. So today, our task force, the COVID task force, immediately created 10 commandments to utilization of oxygen in the most appropriate manner as evidenced at today. And we believe that with those 10 commandments that we actually have put out for every doctor to apply on his patients, be it at home and be it in the hospital, and more concentrators at home rather than oxygen cylinders, we believe that we can decrease our utilization by at least 10 to 15%, if not more.